Right.
How are you going to grow anything here? But in the book of Ezekiel, in Ezekiel 36, it said that the Jews will come back to a wasteland, to a land that was neglected, and turn it back into the Garden of Eden. Guys, you were sitting right, you're standing right in the middle of it. Who would have thought ever that in soil like this, which is nothing, that they're able to grow grapes?
Exactly.
Okay? Then let me explain to you how they did it.
Yeah.
You know that when you put on, if you have enough water wherever you are, something's going to grow, right? I mean, it creates algae, it creates something that's green, it's going to grow. If it rains here constantly, then of course shrubs and little pieces of grass and stuff are going to grow. But you can control that. What you need to do is you turn over the soil, all right? You make mounds, like rows, that you see over there, okay? You make rows, all right? And then you would plant your seed. All right, you don't necessarily need the fertilizer. Cover everything up. And what the Israelis do is this. You take a look at the foot right there of where the plants are. You can see a plastic sheeting. Over there it's black, but we've seen it in places, furrows of plants with plastic sheeting on it, sort of like individual little hothouses going along, right? First of all, it keeps in the humidity and the moisture. So therefore, just going all the way around, remember we saw those wheels? Okay, all those wheels had plastic tubing on it. And what they'll do is just roll them out into the fields. This is an Israeli invention. Roll them out into the fields so they all unravel in the crevices in the earth, right next to where the plants are at, okay? And then they'll hook them up to a pump, which is pumped up from the Jordan River. The Jordan River is only a mile from here, okay? So then when they turn the water on, the water's not spraying in 16,000 different directions and half the water's wasted. But by turning the water on, what happens is along the plastic tubing, every foot or two, there's a little hole. And it doesn't spray out, it just drips, drip, drip. It's called drip irrigation. That means that each plant, each little seedling gets enough water that it needs without wasting anything. And by keeping that individual hothouse on it, it keeps the water from evaporating. It's just the moisture will stay in. So therefore, the fruit or the vegetable that you're planting will be plumper, bigger, and will be harvested quicker than someplace else. All right? The same thing they did over here. Now, in the other places that you notice with the plastic sheeting, literally the plant will grow right out of the plastic, okay? Whether it be peppers or whether it be, I don't know, eggplant or watermelon, it literally comes up out of the plastic. So then when they reap it, they go along, they pick everything up very carefully, they put them in the trucks, and then you may have noticed in many places, to you it may have looked dirty, but you may have seen a lot of plastic on the sides of the road. They would drag all that plastic out, leave it on the side of the road, and that particular plastic is made by certain chemicals put together, invented by the Israelis, and therefore that plastic sheeting is biodegradable. In 2 or 3 months, it'll just disintegrate into the soil.
Wow.
That's how they do it. That's drip irrigation, and that's the best way to fertilize and to irrigate the desert without wasting a lot of water, just by pumping the water directly out from the Jordan River. And it's just, instead of having it flowing and flooding and wasting all that water, it just constantly drips, drips, drips at the foot and the base of each plant. That's what you're witnessing.
It drips all day?
Well, they turn it on and off. They have a cycle.
So how often?
Probably most of the time that they have it dripping is during the early morning at night time. There's no sense putting it on during the day. But because of that plastic sheeting, it literally keeps the water from evaporating, so the water will remain with the plant. And that's drip irrigation.
So they don't amend the soil at all?
They know what?
Amend the soil.
Fertilize.
No, they may use fertilizer, but the fertilizer that they use, you ready for this? Comes from the Dead Sea. Now you're probably wondering, the Dead Sea, there's no life in there. But you take something out, phosphates, okay? Especially potash. Potash is used for fertilizer. And that's the big money maker in Israel as well. All that potash comes out of the Dead Sea. So really the Dead Sea is producing life.
That's neat. And you said no pesticides, or they do use pesticides?
Maybe in some places they do, but most Israelis will buy fruits and vegetables without pesticide.
Wonderful.
And that's how we did it.
Excellent.
Good job.